Michael Chandler tells the story behind the cancelled press conference with Conor McGregor in Dublin. Chandler also discusses the controversy around Conor's recent partying antics. Speaking on the Pivot podcast, Chandler says when the Dublin press conference was cancelled, he was worried the fight with McGregor may be cancelled as well. Regarding Conor's partying antics, Chandler says he doesn't care what Conor is doing. His preparation for UFC 303 remains exactly the same.
How did you find out the presser in Ireland was canceled with Conor McGregor?
So I was actually up late that night because the fights were on the East Coast. So I didn't get into bed till like 12:31 because I wanted to watch Islam versus Poirier, watch that fight. So I'd probably fallen asleep for maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and I woke up to my phone buzzing, and it was Hunter Campbell. You know, everybody knows Dana White's the face, but Hunter Campbell's kind of the guy behind the guy, handles a lot of stuff in the UFC, and he called me and let me know, hey, it's looking like this thing isn't going to happen. And then, so obviously I laid there and thought about it for quite a while. And then the next morning we got on call and he said, it's not happening. You know, a canceled presser, not that big of a deal, right? It happens, but it's the layers in which, okay, if a presser is canceled, is there something else wrong? Is there something going on? And obviously then immediately speculation starts going all over the place in 2024, social media, all that stuff. And you know, I just kept resting in the fact that I know I can only control what I can control. And I've been doing that now for a year and a half with this whole fight. If you've been following it with all the different stuff and all the different dates that have gone on and the dates that were supposed to happen and didn't happen. And now here we are fighting in June of 2024. So really it was just kind of a, you know, you want to hear God laugh, you know, tell him your plans, right? Yeah. And you're just like, dude, this isn't about me. I'm not in control, and we're going to roll with it.
Right, and even with that though, and then you turn around and you see Conor just wide open in the club. I mean, he getting it in. Do you think he's taking it as serious as you?
Man, I tell you what, there's a couple different schools of thought. Obviously, would you ever put it past Conor? No, I think we can all, if you've seen Conor, you would not put that past Conor. But if you saw the way Ryan Garcia did what Ryan Garcia did, you know, and there's all kinds of different, you know, throwing people off the trail,
right.
All kinds of different publicity stunts, if you will. I'm training whether I see Conor in the club every single day or I don't see him tweet or do an interview and he looks bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, he looks the best he's ever been. I'm training the exact same way. And I train the exact same way whether I was fighting all those guys that you never heard of, that never made a name for themselves, all the way to the #1 guy in the world in Charles Oliveira at the time, to Conor McGregor, the biggest name that we have seen. I trust my process, and my process does not change. And if I don't waver from said process, then I know I can step into the octagon and do what I have to do.
For the next story, Eddie Hall destroys 2 fighters in freak MMA fight. The world's strongest man Eddie Hall faced the Nafati twins in a crazy 2 versus 1 MMA freak fight at the World Freak Fight League promotion in the UK. Hall picked up one of the Nafati brothers and slammed him into the canvas. Then he shut his lights out with a beautiful right hook. Here's the footage.
Trying to fight, picking one guy up, slams him down, Eddie Hall! Oh! The right hand land for Eddie Hall, he's knocked him out, one shot, it's all it took.
Mike Perry responds to Sean Strickland's comments about BKFC. At the UFC 302 Media Day, Strickland trashed BKFC.
Yeah, and I think you had posted at some point another time saying, like, I only have a few more years of doing this. Do you have, like, a set exit plan?
I mean, I guess it's when the money stops, man, you know? I don't want to go and be, you know, what those assholes do, go fight bare knuckle. But I guess if they paid me enough, I do, you know? I mean, how much you have to pay to go fight a man without gloves on? Well, yes. How much would I fight bare knuckle for? Nothing they would pay me. Nothing they would pay me. I mean, they're like bare knuckle. You want to talk about crooks, dude? They're paying their guy. Like bare knuckle is one of those organizations where, like, you hear these numbers, it's all like, if you look at the lowest rung of the guys, they're breaking their hands, breaking their orbitals, and they're making like a couple $1,000.
Speaking on the latest episode of the Overdogs podcast, Mike Perry responded to Strickland's comments about BKFC.
Obviously, when a big league starts off, or when a league starts off, it's not big, and they're trying to get the door open to eventually be big enough to make a difference in people's lives. And you can't start out the gate like just saving every little broke-ass fighter who comes along and thinks that they're worth the same as the main event. It's just not that way in any of the sports. And the UFC, is no better because it's what 10-10 when you're actually on the card. They got these big fights on the Contender Series. Those guys are getting 5-5, you know, and obviously there's guys at BKFC early on the card. You know, there's people who would fucking fight for me for free. Like, we'd put on a fucking show because, I mean, I would promote them. I would give them the respect they deserve as an athlete. I would try to, you know, give them the things they would want. I get, you know, being a fighter and trying to fight for more money, but like, I did that shit and I've earned my route and I've gone up and proven myself time and time again. So, you know, Sean Strickland, he's fighting for the UFC for pesos, and I'm fucking, you know, I'm getting paid over here, and he's always posting videos on Instagram where he walks outside of his garage or his front door and somebody's in his driveway and he's like trying to fight him bare knuckle for free right there. So what are you talking about, Sean?
The final story, Ryan Garcia has been arrested for vandalism at the Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills. Ryan Garcia is once again making headlines for all the wrong reasons. According to TMZ, Garcia was arrested for a felony of vandalism at the famous Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Beverly Hills. TMZ released a video of Garcia being led away in handcuffs. According to reports, he was arrested for damaging property in his hotel room and the hallway whilst appearing to be under the influence of something. According to California state law, any act of vandalism that causes damage to the value of $400 or more can be charged as a felony and is punishable by imprisonment in a county jail for up to 1 year. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, please like this video and subscribe for more MMA news.